But, this is a good start with the president agreeing to, start filling the SPR. Prices are, of course, in kind of the bottom of the barrel, as we say. And so certainly the timing's good. China has refilled theirs, or refilling it up to 1.1 billion barrels, and while ours is about 400 million. So we need to refill it. The timing's right.
Welcome back. That is the founder of Continental Resources, Harold Hamm, with me on Mornings with Maria on Friday. On President Trump's decision to buy 1 million barrels of oil at current prices to begin refilling the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And a day after the Trump administration put sanctions on two of Russia's leading oil companies. I've just returned from the Permian Basin here in Midland, Texas, America's richest pool of oil and gas, expected to provide 70% of U.S. oil production by 2040. Where I was able to view firsthand the technology and the American might powering American energy dominance. Tomorrow on Mornings with Maria on Fox Business, we will take you behind the process of extracting oil from rock. But first, the new policies opening up new opportunities for one of America's most abundant natural resources, oil and gas production.
The Permian Basin will be producing for decades to come as we continue to innovate and find ways to improve recovery.
So the Permian Basin is that important. It's critical to economic security in America, and that means national security, doesn't it?
I think we've seen in many places in the world, especially recently, whether you're talking gas in Europe or critical minerals with China, energy security and national security are linked. The U.S. is blessed with an abundance of natural resources, and we now have an administration that wants to see the energy industry invest in those resources to make sure that America's energy strength translates into economic strength and competitiveness, and importantly, security.
So let me ask you about that. I want to get back to sort of the specifics of hydraulic fracking and how it's done. But let's talk about whether or not it is a new day for the oil industry and for Chevron, given the backdrop of policy. Do you believe things feel different with a new administration in place?
Oh, 100%. We've gone from an administration that openly declared its intent to try to reduce and eliminate our industry over time. And we now have an administration that sees American energy strength, American energy dominance, as linked to economic competitiveness. We've seen a policy shift. We've seen senior cabinet officials that actually understand energy. And look, this administration wants to protect the environment as well, but it wants to use the resources of our country to support our economy and our security. And we've seen that in policies across the board.
So what kind of policies can you name that actually have changed the game for Chevron and for the oil industry? I mean, you're talking about policies that are debated in Washington, and yet you're feeling it here in Midland, Permian Basin, Texas.
We're seeing red tape eliminated from the permitting process. We've seen executive orders that streamline the process of getting from an application through to a permit. We've seen a reversal of policies that stopped lease sales in the Deepwater Gulf of America, and we've now resumed lease sales in an area that's got tremendous potential, and we are going to have access to explore for resource there. So if you look at any aspect of policy related to energy, we are seeing movements in a positive direction. The thing that would be really most important now is to see those codified in legislation that ensures that they're durable. We've got a long-term plan that we have continued to follow, and what I would say is it allows us to do our work faster, allows us to do our work more efficiently, with less red tape, with more confidence and more certainty. We're investing 2/3 of our global capital spending, which is between $15 and $20 billion this year, is right here in the United States. If you go back a decade or more ago, it was reversed. Most of the spending was going outside of this country.
I think the most important thing to tell people about the Permian Basin is that we've never endured a harder cycle than the last 4 years when we had a hostile administration, the Biden administration, that really wanted to kill this industry, that wanted to kill the crown jewel of energy production in the United States. And I took this personally as I represent the men and women that do this. I mean, they drained the SPR for political reasons. They taxed natural gas. They magically found a number of endangered species, animals that people have never heard of. They attempted to impose overbearing air quality regulations. They attempted to impose a fracking ban, and they actually banned the export of LNG to our allies and our partners around the world.
You know how President Trump likes to say, drill, baby, drill? Well, this is what he's talking about. I've got the horsepower right behind me. I'm standing between two oil wells, and the well heads are basically enabling the oil to come out. The pipes behind me are enabling the sand and the water to go in, creating enough compression to push the oil out and up to get to when we need it and where we need it.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.